Hi everybody, Bianca Marie here. Happy Friday to you. So for today's doula community chat, I want to extend a welcome to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you're able to join us. This is one of our pre-recorded chats that will be posted at noon Eastern time. As always, every Friday at noon, a pre-recorded video such as this is recorded and posted, or we have a live chat that you can join via Zoom or via the Facebook group. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. If you find the information that we share in our community helpful, make sure you share it with another birth worker. It could be a doula, it could be a lactation consultant, it could be a midwife assistant, or the list goes on and on and on. The information that we share is pertinent to us in so many different ways, and this is our community. It is valuable, it is timely, and the topics are very helpful because there are topics, right? There are topics that we decide upon. There are issues that we want to try to address. There are resources that we want to share. And so this is our community, and welcome. So for those who are new, just a quick little background about who I am. I am Bianca Marie, and I'm just a host. I'm just a vessel that's being used to just host this community where all are welcome. It started a couple months ago with our pandemic. There's so many changes that happened with the pandemic. I kept hearing from different doulas and birth workers of, different questions that they're grappling with, and similar questions, right? We all were grappling with the same one. So what are we going to do in the pandemic? Are we able to get into the hospitals? How do we support our clients? How do we still get clients? Do we get clients during this time? How do we stay safe? All these sorts of questions. And so that birthed this community, the doula community chat, which we have every Friday at noon p.m. Eastern. And so it's been wonderful. We've been doing it for a couple months. It's been a wonderful ride, wonderful information, wonderful connections and networks that have formed. We also do different events such as different trainings that are offered, as well as there's also a subscription-based membership community that many of the members are a part of, where we dig a little deeper. We go do more of a deep dive in some of these topics, from mentoring to pricing our packages, setting up our packages, creating websites, all sorts of details such as that. And so this is a great community that's a resource. And so we want to welcome everyone, and I'm just excited for you to be here. Now today we are still working with our topic or a theme for October, which is National Pregnancy Loss and Infant Loss Month. And so and the 15th is the day, specific day that is set aside for it. And so the other topics this month are in that realm, in that vein, for us to make sure that we are prepared as birth workers for when that experience happens. If it happens, we are able to be positioned to best support our clients. And so today, we just I wanted to just put out there 10 things, 10 reminders for us to know, and some of them are action steps for us to take in order to be best positioned to help our clients. And this list certainly is not all inclusive, right? This is just a starting point. This is just some high level general points that for anyone, whether you are an aspiring doula, birth worker, you will want to know about, or whether you are a seasoned one. These are points that are helpful reminders wherever you are in your doula journey. I would say if you are working as a doula birth worker for more than a couple months, and if you're doing it, certainly if you're doing it full time, you have a full slate of clients, experiencing supporting a mom or birthing person in a family that have this type of experience is more than likely going to happen, right? So it's best for us to prepare before it happens as much as we can, right? So that way we are able to help as much as we can as appropriate, because that help could look totally different, right, from client to client and situation to situation. But if we prepare ourselves the best way that we know how, then we can make sure that we are able to pivot and help a little quicker and probably more effectively than if we never thought about it beforehand. So let's get into it. The first is that just a reminder that it happens, right? Pregnancy loss, infant loss, unfortunately, it's part of our world as birth workers, right? In maternal health, it's an experience that happens, right? Usually we have more questions than answers, as to why, when, and how, and all those. You usually have more, you're usually grappling with more questions than answers. But the first thing is just to make sure that we wrap our minds around it as much as we can to know that it happens. Start with that, right? The first point is remember that it happens. And so not every day, perfectly, not, every month or anything, there's no frequency, nobody has a crystal ball, but just be prepared and know that it could happen. So that's the first one. The second one is to, like I've been saying, is just be prepared. Be prepared as much as you can. Think about ways that you can support families when they have this experience or they're going through this. And it could be a package that you have. It can be some add-on pieces that you can be adding to a package. You may do something differently with your contract. You may do something with a refund. I don't know. The point is, be prepared and think in advance about if that happens, how would you react, and is there something that you would do differently? Is there something that you would change with your policies? Is there something that you would change with your contract? Do you have services that you already know in your mind that you would be able to offer to the family who's in need in that way? So just think about that in advance. The third is have resources lined up, right? So for yourself and then possibly for your client. Right. So I've said this many times was that as a birth worker, we go through different experiences that I do think that everybody needs a counselor or a therapist or someone, a network, someone that's a trusted advisor, trusted friend that you can share and talk with. Because sometimes depending on the situation, it can get a little heavy. And as birth workers, we are passionate and we are helpful. But from time to time, depending on the situation, you may face one that you feel that energy, and that energy, you take the energy with you, you take the energy home, you're trying to process it. I've had some births where they just didn't go as planned. They simply did not go as planned. And it was hard, right? It was hard being in a hospital room. It was hard seeing that amount of blood. It was hard seeing how things can change in a matter of seconds. It was hard helping them pack up the nursery. It was hard. And if it was hard for me, you can imagine the magnitude of it for the family, right? But as me, as a birth worker, I had to figure out how to attend to my mental health. Right. And how do I do that? And how do I do it where I'm able to do it balanced with balance with my family, and then be able to serve my other clients, right? Be able to serve other clients and give them fully, give myself to them fully in energy. Right. And so I say that to say is have resources lined up for yourself as well as for your clients. And it could be information about a hospital. It could be information about somebody else that can help, maybe a death doula or bereavement doula, like already knowing who in your community is one, and talk to them in advance and see what kind of resources they have, see when they would like for you to reach out to them, when it's beneficial and valuable to reach out to them, how they would want you to connect them with the family and so forth. So my point is just have a game plan as much as you can, so you won't be kind of walking cold into the situation whenever it happens, right? And so with every plan, it's not black and white, right? So there's going to be some gray areas, and that's totally fine, but you'll be a little better off if you think about it in advance. So no, it happens, right? It happens. 2, be prepared as much as you can. Think about it in advance, how you would serve clients that are facing that situation. 3rd is have resources lined up, whatever that means in your area, whatever is available to you for you personally, as well as for the family. And then the 4th is be a resource for them, right? You're going to share resources, certainly, to them that can help them, but then be a resource, meaning listen, right? Listen and respond accordingly and appropriately, right? So you may have a plan, you may think you're going to do A, B, and C, but if you talk to that family, you talk to that mom, you talk to that dad, or you talk to that grandma, whoever else, and they're like, we need this, or we don't want this, or we don't want any visitors, we don't want that, we don't want cars, whatever. Listen. So be the resource. The very first thing about being a resource is listening and figuring out what those needs are for that particular family, because it can be different, right? Every family is different, situations are different. So being a resource is being responsive and being attentive to what that particular family says, what that particular family needs. I've had some moms where all they really wanted was for me just to sit on the edge of the bed and listen. That was it. That was the best thing that I could have given them. That was the best space I could have honored them with, was just to listen. Not give advice, not give words of wisdom, not give, quotes, and no. Just sit on the edge of the bed and listen, right? And so I'm a doer, just naturally. I like to take action. I like to do things. I like to solve things. I like to help people, release their burdens and things. But doing wasn't, taking action wasn't what they needed. What she needed was for me to sit on the edge of the bed and just listen. Just be still and be present and give her that space and listen, right? And so that was me being a resource for her. And so I just say, just think about how you can be a resource for the family. And the time that it happens, and the time if you need it, you need to start by listening and then figure out what the best resource that you could offer at that time that's appropriate and that meets their needs, because every family is different. The fifth is self-care. Similar to kind of having your resources line up for yourself, like a therapist and things, that's part of your self-care routine, right? But for the family, specifically for the mom or the birthing person, in general, when I get new clients and when I'm talking to them and we're, kind of onboarding them, and we're talking about everything from policies to what they like to what their needs are, I always ask questions about self-care, because it's telling for me, right? It's insightful for me. I always say, what do you love to do? Like on the weekends, like what do you love to do to relax? If you had a free day and, didn't have to work or didn't have any responsibilities, like what would you love to do? Like I just kind of dig a little bit into that, just to figure out how they like to relax, how do they like to respond to things. Not only do I weave that into their birthing experience however way that I can, but I also have that in the back of my mind for knowing if I need to respond or help out differently, then I already kind of know a little bit about what she likes to do self-care. For example, one of the clients I'm specifically speaking of, I just sat on the edge of the bed and, she just talked and cried and talked and cried, and I just sat there. And that was the best thing I could give her. She loved candles. She loves candles. That was part of her self-care routine. She loved bubble baths and candles. She couldn't do a bubble bath at the time. She wasn't ready for that, but I was able, I can't tell how many candles I bought, just all different scents. She loved candles and incense, and that was me trying to help her for whenever she was ready for that moment to have what she needed for her self-care routine that she shared with me, right? And so that just reminding her that whenever she was ready, that it's available and it's at her fingertips. She didn't have to think about it. She had to go out and get new candles and things. That was something that she shared with me. And so as a resource, I was just wanted to encourage her and to support her in her self-care routine, and certainly it's evolved, and certainly it was in a different situation. But I knew that if she got to that point where she wanted to have a piece of her self-care routine that she shared with me, I wanted to at least have it available. And so knowing the self-care routine for your clients, or knowing a bit about what relaxes them, what they enjoy, those sorts of things. And then again, as appropriate, you interject, you share, you provide, you help as appropriate. It could be the right thing that you're trying to do, and it could be the totally wrong time, right? Or it could be the totally wrong way. So you just got to be attentive and kind of walk that line to know when's the best time to offer, right? And so one of the things that I did was offered candles, right? I just had them in different bags and left them in her bathroom, and we probably didn't talk about the candles till maybe almost 2 months later. But she used them, right? So, self-care routine. And then number 6 is, if you find that this is an area that you're just totally floored by, an area that you just like, I don't know where to start, I can't do this, but you know in your heart you want to try to be prepared as much as you can, to be able to be a resource, I would say get in some sort of training, special training, in that area. And it could be an area of something as simple as trauma counseling. It could be something, and when I say training, like there's things online, different, like on Udemy, different courses and things like that you can just do on your own pace, your own time, not trying to make you into a counselor, not trying to make you into a social worker overnight, not trying to change your occupation or anything like that. But at least there's many introductory courses where some basic information is shared with you just to help you be empowered. And so that is an option if you feel that that's the route or direction you need to go in order for you to be best positioned to help your family. I would encourage you to definitely get the training or skills that you feel like you need in this area. If you feel totally lost and not able to assist, somewhere in your journey, you may want to get some training. Okay, and then number 7 is books. If you, at minimum, there's bookstores and Amazon and everywhere else you can get books. At minimum, you could just try to read a book or two about it. I'll put some recommendations in the Facebook group, so you can just see what some books that are out there that I could recommend, and what I've seen on some of the other websites that are recommended for folks that are trying to support family members who are going through infant or pregnancy loss. So there's some good books out there that can help. So at minimum, if you don't want to go through a full course or training, pick up a book, right? Build your library, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And then number 8 is, again, similar to your network and being a resource. Make sure you have somebody that you're talking to. And this is in general. So this is a hard topic, right? This definitely can be a trigger. Definitely can be a hard pill to swallow and valley to cross. But just in general, as a doula, I would say, or a birth worker, I would say have a mentor. Definitely build a network around you for folks that you can share your thoughts with, share your experiences with in a safe space, in a private, safe space, and that you can kind of just put it out there and they can help you release any heaviness that you may be carrying, any of that hard energy. So talk to somebody that can help, because you as a birth worker are going through your own process, right? That's what I learned. Like, you're going through your own process. Definitely not the same, by no means the same magnitude or anything like that as the family, but you're going through your own process, even as a support person. And I would say that, like, there's books and there's resources out there for grandparents. For grandparents, how do they grieve? How do they process it? How do they go through it? If their first grandchild passed. So those sorts of things. So it's everybody within the realm have a process that they're going through, right? So it's a balancing of, okay, as a doula, the birth worker, who are you helping, right? And then make sure you help yourself, so that way you can be full and be able to pour out in a hopeful way. So having somebody that you can talk to in your own circle that you trust is helpful. And then 9, nutrition and health. So the mind and body is connected. And so one thing that I do when I'm going through my own healing process, and whether it's from this situation or from others, one of the things that I like to do is I like to fast, and I like to just go like on raw veggies and water, because it just helps me with my clarity of mind, and it helps me with being grounded. And so I would just say, figure out what you need to do because mind and body is connected, right? So from a nutrition standpoint, a health standpoint, what do you need to do in order to make sure that you are whole, right? That you are whole. And so it may be that you do something different with your nutrition. It may do your diet. It may be that you do something different with your health. Think about that. I like to walk, and I like to jog, and so that's something else that I incorporate, just in my lifestyle in general. But certainly that helps with stress, and it helps with healing process and being able to process things in hard situations, such as when I'm supporting clients that are going through this type of situation. So I said it to say, you know yourself best, right? As a doula, a birth worker, you know yourself best. What do you need? Health-wise, nutrition-wise, physical-wise, like what do you need in order to be your best self? Even in times that are hard, what do you need to be your best self? And that kind of is the last one, which is number 10, which I leave blank purposely because everybody's different. So the 10th tidbit or tip thing to know or act upon is you fill it in. What is it that you need? What is it that you need? You know yourself, you know your situations, you know what you can offer, you know how much you can give. So the 10th one is, what is it that you can give? What is it that you need so you can give? What is it that you need? Put that on the list. Put that on your plan of action. Put that in your strategy to respond, whatever that 10th thing is. So that way it's personal and it's effective for you. So just 10 tidbits, reminders, slash actions that we can take and just be aware of when we are trying to be our best version to be able to support families and clients as they go through an experience of pregnancy loss or infant loss. It's different for everybody, but at the same time, as a birth worker, the more you can prepare and just be aware of situations, responses, emotions, services that you can offer, the more you can kind of just think some of those through. Then in the time when you're needing to respond, you're more than likely will be a little bit better off because you have kind of a baseline as to, okay, I thought about this, or okay, I have this person in my network, let me reach out to them. So you can be responsive a little bit faster and hopefully effective for the family. Because as birth workers, we are fortunate to be a part of their space, right? In different ways. Birth is an amazing space, an amazing experience. But with that, there's different types of transitions. And so there's happy transitions, and there's some transitions that are a little sadder, right? And so we can do what we can to be prepared. So that was what I wanted to share today. I'll put in the links, I'll put in the chat box some links to some books and some other resources that I think will be helpful. But for this doula community chat, just wanted to talk about those 10 things that we should do as birth workers, or be aware of as birth workers, just reminders that can help us be best positioned to help our families. And so again, the doula community chat every Friday at noon p.m. Eastern time. So if you are not part of the Facebook group, please do join it. If you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe to that. We're going to have a lot more videos up there as well. There's a lot of questions that we get throughout the week, and I'm finding that it's easiest to just do a quick video and throw it up there on YouTube, so that way folks can look at it at any time that they need to based on their schedule and what they're interested in hearing about. So with that, I am sending much love and light, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.